Good morning, guys. I'm glad you're all here. Thank you very much for joining me. Last night there in Southern California, there was a magnitude 3.8 earthquake near Desert Hot Springs, California. So far, 655 people have said they felt this earthquake. USGS gave it an intensity level of 4. Which means it was felt indoors by a lot of people, outdoors by a few. If you were sleeping, it would have woken you up. Dishes, windows were rattling. Autos that were parked would have been shaking there where they were at. It was felt as far south as Oceanside and close to Escondido, as far north as Victorville, also reported close to Santa Monica, Los Angeles. San Bernardino, Long Beach, let's go over here towards the east. 29 Palms, Morongo Valley, what else we got here? Landers, Big Bear City, yeah, it was felt over a very large area. USGS does not post what people felt when they send in the reports, but on EMSC, 69 people sent in their felt reports, and here at Desert Hot Springs, which they said was about 4 miles from their house, there was a huge rumble. It really was a strong shake. The whole house was shaking really hard for a bit, and the poor doggies were super scared. Another report from Desert Hot Springs said they were laying in bed, in and out of sleep, and their whole bed shook hard. And it made a big noise, like it was a windstorm outside, and then stopped suddenly. Another one was woken up. A good report here from Desert Hot Springs said they felt like it traveled from east to west right through the foundation of the house. It was noisy and shuddered the walls, but not the windows or objects. Yucca Valley said it was 2 big jolts. Another report from Yucca Valley said it felt like a truck hit the house. Another report from Morongo Valley, and they mentioned the eclipse of the moon last night. Now, many of you know that it was a supermoon and also a lunar eclipse. It says here it lasted for a few seconds and was quite loud and startling, really, rumbly, and definitely shook the whole little house we're staying in on the night of the full moon eclipse. Another report from Yucca Valley said it lasted about 6 seconds. Short jerking motion and then a side rolling. Cathedral City said they heard it coming. Now when you hear it, that sound you hear is the first wave of the earthquake, which is the P wave, which goes directly through the earth. And then when the rattling starts, that's the second wave of the earthquake, and that's the S wave. Another one here reports 2 shakes, one short and then one long, strong shake. So there was 2. USGS has 9 earthquakes, so that would have been 8 aftershocks since the 3.8. The largest being a magnitude 2.9. And they are shallow, 4.7 miles in depth. All earthquakes are measured from sea level. And we got a 1.5, a 1.9, a 1.8. And then, smaller ones, a 1.0. I've done reports on earthquakes in this location or close to it in the past. This area is capable of having large earthquakes. It is north of what is called the Mission Creek Strand. And over here in yellow is an area that is capable of having large earthquakes. Right here is the San Andreas Fault to the bottom. And then we got several strands. And these are really dangerous strands that come off of the San Andreas Fault zone. So what was interesting about this earthquake, let me go up here. The 3.7 is where EMSC said it was at, and then the 3.8 is what USGS location was. Now the Mission Creek Strand, a study done, I'm not sure of the year, I have to go check out this link, which stretches from Indio Hills through the middle of Desert Hot Springs and up until San Bernardino Mountains, is slipping at a much faster rate than scientists previously thought, making a larger earthquake from that strand more likely. Now, that was from the Desert Hot Springs News, and it was from an article of November of last year, 2021. At Biskra Palms near Indio Hills, the San Andreas Fault splits into two strands. The Mission Creek Strand runs through northwest through Desert Hot Springs, crossing Highway 62 and heads into the San Bernardino Mountains, while the Banning Strand roughly follows the path of 10 freeway, give or take a few miles. What also would happen, there would be a lot of destruction for the Desert Hot Springs if there was a large earthquake. And the direction of the movement would funnel the energy from a large earthquake up through the mountains, going up into the Los Angeles area. And let's see, I assume this is the Banning Strand here at the bottom. This is the Mission Creek Strand. And yeah, I've talked about how if the fault ruptured going from south to north, it would funnel all that energy, and it would be like a hose clamped down throughout this area. And then the energy would spread out like the end of a hose and propagate in a wide area throughout the Los Angeles area. GIFT showing what I'm talking about, how it narrows, and then when it comes into southern the Los Angeles area, Southern California, how it spreads out. You can see here how it spreads out. It narrows down like the hose I was saying, and then the energy would spread out, causing a lot of damage for the Los Angeles area. See that? This here is a scenario for a 7.8 earthquake happening along either the Mission or Banning Strand. Like I said, they are connected to the San Andreas Fault Zone. Here's a little bit larger image on USGS. USGS made the GIFT image, but here you can see it goes all the way down to Long Beach, Ventura, extending a little bit farther south. And there we go. We got Palm Springs and the Salton Sea. This earthquake would have been classified as an oblique earthquake, where you got part of the fault, and it kind of looks like the direction of the fault on the eastern side dropped down, while it also moved going towards the north. Yeah, this side dropped down, and then at the same time the fault moved going north. So IRIS has an example here, and I'll play this GIFT image for you. Alright, let's hit play. Hold on. Alright, I'll just have to move the bar for you. Alright, so we got the earthquake. Let me see. There you go. Okay. It shows the hanging wall rising up, and then the fault. See how it moved? We got strike slip, and then the hanging wall, and it slightly moves, in this case, going north. And we'll pull it back a little bit if you can see it. There you go. Alright, let's try again. I'll hit play. There you go. So that's all I have for you right now. You know, even though I got it drawn out in red, these faults are actually much wider, as you can see here, than what's drawn out by geologists or even me on Google Earth. Yeah, the fault lines actually are very wide. So if you felt this earthquake, please put that information down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you wish to support my work, I'm also on Patreon. Many of you have recently joined, and I really, really appreciate your support. Please thumbs up my videos, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.